11 of the NFL, picking games against the spread, talking all things NFL. Liam and Bert. Bert, how you doing this week, brother?
Good, good. Had a nice little bye weekend. Kind of at like the point
Oh,
where,
you had a bye?
well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm realizing how ridiculous it is to, say, oh, like this is our bye weekend. Which is like it's been like a little tradition for me to like maybe go see a movie in the morning slate or something like that. Which I did. I went and saw Wakanda Forever.
I was gonna see that last night, but I saw it was 3 hours.
2 hours and 41 minutes. It is long. It is really good. But
I'm
it
gonna
is
watch it. I just want to
the
like
length.
squeeze.
It's not like Endgame or The Godfather or something where it's like 3 hours go by and you're kind of like, wow, that felt like an hour and a half or something. You are very aware that it is 2 hours and 45 minutes. I was checking my watch a little bit, but not
So
because I didn't think it was
did
good.
you solo go see this, or did the wife come with you?
No, I went on my own.
Oh,
Which
I
like
solo rip movies too.
I
I'm
do this like a little bit when the Marvel movies come out. I'll say to my wife, I'll be like, I think I could maybe go see it on my own. And I don't think I've ever enjoyed a movie going experience more in my life. Like it is.
Yeah, my girlfriend does not like the superhero
The
movies
midday
at all.
matinee on your own is like incredible.
Yeah, I like that too. One time I made a mistake and I hit the like high school hour. That's a bad time to hit. Where like
That's
school.
the wife right there. She's the one that hooked me up with the movie Date with Myself. So you guys can all.
What's up, Christina? Like one time I hit the movies right as school was getting out or something, and you had like 15-year-olds screaming in the theater. That was not a good experience. But
yeah, I mean, I think what I liked about we're getting in the weeds here, but what I like about going
we
in the
get on
middle
the weeds on this show, bro.
when you go in the middle of the day, you still have like your entire day still in front of you. So like my son went down for a nap. I just went and got to the theater, and he may have been up for like 45 minutes by the time I got home. And then like I had the entire afternoon with him. So it's kind of, and I'm not like a golfer or anything like that. So I'd like to be, but it's nice to kind of get out there and hit a movie on your own. High recommend the movie by yourself.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Big things I did this week. Got my chest Twitch up and running yesterday, so did a little work.
So I saw that, and now you have like a cartoon version of yourself.
When I worked for chesskid.com, which is a part of chess.com, I was a streamer for them, and they made a bot of me on ChessKid that you can play. So I just kind of took that image. I assumed they'd be cool with it.
Awesome. I mean, it's your likeness.
Yeah.
You have a right. You must have a right to it. I'm sure.
Well, I'm sure if they wanted me not to, I could not use it, but they don't care.
It's your likeness. I mean,
I was the Blazing Bishop on ChessKid. So
when they make a bot for you on chess, like, does it have your tendencies or anything like that?
So what it is it's they like roughly try to program it to your strength, and then it has a bunch of voice cues for me where depending on what move you do, like I recorded a bunch of.
Oh, you got in the studio.
Yeah, I not only did my
yeah.
bot, but I also helped Tani, who's this young up and coming prodigy, with his bot, and I helped Vishy Anand, who's a former world champion. Just kind of helped him with the recording process. Yeah, so I'm like the smallest bot, but hey, got the chess streaming up and running. I am I'm primarily a best ball content person, and like that's a summer thing. We're doing this, we're doing a little bit of NFL, but I want to get back in the chess streets. So it feels good. I edited a video too. I'm trying to do those shorts, so who knows?
Yeah, it'll be interesting once Super Bowl wraps up. I imagine that's where this show will go. I mean, I'd love to do like an NBA weekly roundup too, or like a March Madness breakdown. But we'll see where we end up.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not an NBA guy, so I don't see myself doing that. I could definitely do March Madness, World Cup.
But like,
I wouldn't hate having. Let's have Jake and Nate on and talk some World Cup.
Oh yeah, well that's starting in about and on the 20th, isn't it, or something like that?
Yeah.
The
Other
problem is like
news,
the games are at like 2. I mean, I just think
2
it'd probably be
a.m.
no, 2 in the afternoon. But like
Oh, that's
right in
perfect for me. But for most
yeah.
people, that is
Well,
not so great.
I'm
It's all
just
coming up,
picturing like you
Liam.
like being like,
Uh,
"Oh yeah, I gotta get out to the bar to
Tough
watch
week
Team USA."
for me again, not only with the picks, but in the Bills game. Like that Bills game. Oops, sharing the wrong
I
thing
mean,
here.
to me, that was kind of like the what the Bills experience has been for your entire and I'm not like trying to I'm not trying to bust your balls too much here, but that they're a juggernaut team, another juggernaut team coming in from the other side, but they really should beat that team.
I mean,
And
I think Minnesota. Like, let me talk about the game because I
they
watched
had
the whole
them dead
game.
they had them dead to rights, dude,
I think
on
most
multiple
people watched that game when it started getting quote unquote good, but there was like so many
quote unquote
90%.
good.
There's like so many 90 percenters that the Bills lost, and starting with like,
99 percenters.
well,
Justin
yeah, even
Jefferson, 4th and
$99. Like people are
18.
like people are trying to be like, wow, crazy catch by Justin Jefferson. No, that was not. That was purely on the defender.
You
Like
don't think that
crazy.
was one of the like best catches you've ever seen in your life?
But if what actually happened, if you watched it, is the defender
Yeah, the
is
defender kind of helps him bring
the
it to the
defender
ground.
helps the catch and he just falls on the
Yeah,
ball.
but that's
Just
like the
like Terry
whole
McLaurin did yesterday in the end zone where he got tackled outside and he ended up with the ball. Stephon Diggs had a better catch in that game. But
okay,
anyways,
dude. Jeez. Like
the panic button on Buffalo is 0% still. I saw something today. They're still like 98% to make the playoffs. That's amazing. And I mean, it makes sense.
what do you mean that's they're of course they're 98% to
They're
make the
still like
playoffs.
the best team in the NFL. They've had, honestly, after you lose your first game, I truly think you want to suffer some adversity as a team. You don't want to just like cruise through the regular season and then reach
No,
the.
as a fan that had their heart broken in '07, like by that 18-1 Patriots team, 100% if they drop one of those games to like that Ravens game or
But
something like
that's
that.
different. If you have a chance to go
No,
19,
of course you want to win all the games that you can. But I'm just like it would have been better for them in the long run, I think, to have lost that Ravens game that they really should have lost, and then they could at least kind of have that minute of mortality and then, make a run in the playoffs. Whereas I think the pressure just built and built and built.
so I think just to wrap up the Bills Minnesota game, I think Minnesota is still a good team. They're not great. They like I don't think they're like a top 3 team in the NFL or anything close to. And when you have Kirk Cousins as your quarterback, sometimes he's going to hit and this is just really any pocket passer in today's NFL. Sometimes they're going to throw up 50-50 balls and their guys going to come down with it and sometimes they're not. Um
Well, what I
but
think is especially interesting about that game is that the Vikings really got kind of hosed by
No, but that's just what, and this is why I said I watched the whole game because that's the narrative of like, oh, I think I even saw the Bills had like 12 defenders
there's
on the
12
field
men
late
on
in
the
the game.
field on one
Yeah,
of their
but there
red
was
zone
like,
plays, and then there was the Gabe
when the
Davis
Vikings
drop
were
pass.
down, when the Vikings were down and then they came back in it, there was like,
I'm
they were
just
just
thinking if this was the other way around, how you
no. I
would
mean, it's just
be
no. It's just
talking, and
like
it's just
this is
like,
the popular narrative. If you'd quiet down and listen up,
yeah, but,
and
but this is not what you would be saying if it was the other way around.
okay, that's irrelevant. I'm just telling you, I watched this game solely. Like,
I
what
mean,
happened actually is like, on like 4th and 23, they run a screen, it doesn't work. Adam Thiel's running down the field, gets, like my point is the refs were bad on Buffalo's side to allow Minnesota back into the game. And then they missed some calls on Buffalo's side, like the Gabriel Davis, maybe catch, maybe not. Buffalo hurried to the line.
maybe.
But I mean,
um,
Buffalo like played that smart. They hurried to the
no,
line.
I agree. That's gamesmanship. You get up to the
Yeah.
line
And then
and
the
run a
12
play.
defenders on the field, I don't like that was a bad ref crew. What do you want? Like
Yeah, but no, but that's my point though, is that all those things were in place and the Bills had this game won on multiple. I mean, you have them in 4th and
yeah, but like to
18.
me, it's like, you look at this and you're like, are you worried about the team? The answer is no. So it's just like, okay, this happened.
Yeah,
But
no, I mean, I don't think I don't think you're necessarily worried about.
Not to mention the team's
What
getting a lot
are
of
they
people
still a
back.
Super Bowl contender? 100%. Like, yes, are they third in the division? Are they still a top 2 or 3
They're
team in
going
the
to
NFL?
blow that division out, though. They got some easy ones coming up.
Are they still a top 2 or 3 team in the NFL? Yes, probably. Or yeah, absolutely, I would say. But I do think like you do have to wonder, are they going to take the stuff that is there in front of them? Because they're going for it on 4th and 2, throwing that pick in the end zone. I don't
Which
think
I want.
No,
The
yeah, I mean
one thing I would say is
that's
like
but
like
they kick that field goal,
you
they're
don't
probably
want your
fine.
coach to be like in today's NFL, you don't want a Belichick coach who's like, we're playing defense and playing for field goals and like that is terrible.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, but that's the thing is, they if they take the points there, they definitely win that game. But they also definitely win that game on 1,000 other plays, or not 1,000, but
Yeah, but like
they have the
that's like
ball. If they just take a knee and take that safety, they probably win that game. If Justin Jefferson doesn't make what is probably the most incredible play of the season, then
incredible because like it was so improbable to occur. It
yeah,
was
well, what
not
makes it
it was not like a crazy
that's what
talent
makes it
play.
that's what makes it
Like
that
Justin
incredible.
Jefferson is insane. He's like a top 2 wide receiver in the league.
But what makes plays like that especially incredible, David Tyree catch, all that stuff, is all the instincts of how you've been coached, how you defend plays come into that, and the player that is interfering with that play is just that freakish, that presence of mind, maybe even that lucky, if you want to say, that play played out the way it did. So just an incredible
Yeah,
game.
it was lucky because like obviously the Bills defender went for an interception.
My jaw was on the floor. I mean,
it was crazy. It was like, wow, okay. And then the Bills D showed a lot there to even get to not lose that game so many times on the goal line. And then it like obviously Josh has to wear that loss. Like it didn't make sense to be taking 25-yard shots to the end zone twice in a row when you could have easily like checked it down to Singletary or
yeah, but I
ran
think
for it.
that's with
But
Josh.
like if he wants to, like when you have the liberty of having such a good team that's going to cruise to the playoffs, if he wants to play and have the highlight on Sports Center when it's not necessary, okay. Like in a regular season game, I don't care. Obviously in the playoffs, go win that game.
Totally.
But that's like the one or two things I would
Well,
disagree
yeah, and I
with.
think you just have to kind of, and what I think is Josh Allen is he's that highest highs, lowest low, maybe not lowest lows
He's
anymore.
not lowest lows. That's so New England fan.
Okay, I literally was just saying that that's really not what he is. But he is that highest highs guy, and then sometimes with a questionable decision here and there, I think he is at the point that he probably makes 80% great decisions and then maybe that 20% bad decision here and there. But yeah,
how
you're right.
crazy was
Like
it
you're
that he
probably
didn't
going to,
practice all week? Like people thought he wasn't going to play.
but then more likely than not, I mean, you have to believe that he's going to break through and have a playoff run that will. I mean, if Joe Flacco did it, somebody with the talent level of Josh Allen for sure can do it. So,
I mean, you have to understand that like this is not like a does a guy have it? It's a advanced game of rock paper scissors shoot, and sometimes you're unlucky in life. That's it. Like if you don't think luck is a big factor in life, I disagree.
Well, yeah, I mean it's the NFL. I mean,
like if we replayed the past couple decades over, I'm sure Tony Romo has a couple Super Bowls. I'm sure Drew Brees has like 5 in some simulations. I'm sure Aaron Rodgers has like 10 in a row in some simulations. It's a chaotic game.
I mean, I don't think the 10 in some simulations. Yeah, maybe in one in 100 chance.
But I mean, that's just what it is. Like that's what the NFL is. Like the best team does not always win. It's why we watch. Like the best can lose to quote unquote the worst.
It's easily the most schemed. It's the most able to be impacted by how a team prepares, how they do whatever than any of the other sports. NBA probably being the biggest example of what it means to just have like the best team will go the furthest. MLB, I would say, is like the biggest.
Yeah, because it's 5 players, obviously.
But yeah, which is why you need the largest sample size in MLB is because you are coin flipping so many games.
I do think today's NFL though is like it's becoming an NFL where I don't know what the percentage, but say it's 60%, say it's 75. the winner of the Super Bowl will come down to a handful of teams.
Well, it is just incredible that we were talking about how top heavy it was just a couple weeks ago, and now it seems a lot more wide open for what the playoffs landscape is going to be. I still expect the same four teams.
I would like, what percentage of the time do you think the Super Bowl winner is either Buffalo, Kansas City, Philadelphia, or who's another team on the NFC that you put there?
I guess let's just say Minnesota because they're the
Minnesota. I mean, it's just hard with Kirk, like, but sure, okay, fine. Like Dallas or Minnesota, whatever. Or let's just say even an AFC team. Like, how often do you think? Because I think the AFC is better than the NFC. How often do you think the winner is Buffalo, Kansas City, Philadelphia, or
Miami?
Yeah, Miami. Like, I think it's like.
Well, I would say the highest plays are going to be the team with the bye because you're eliminating a round, so you have a good chance of making the Super Bowl, of winning the Super Bowl. That's what I think is so awesome about the new 17 format is we're really going to see either the cream of the crop come out, which is that.
Put a percentage on that though, real quick. I would say it's like.
I don't know, it's probably
70 to 75% of the time it's going to be one of those four.
Yeah, I mean, but that's the playoffs every year. Is you kind of look at.
There's probably 25% of the time the Super Bowl, like it could be some crap team. Like I don't know.
Yeah, Tennessee. Well, how often does that? Like, how often does the 7-9 team that gets in win a playoff game? It's. I mean, I guess they usually
not often, but it can
because they have a home game. But
all right, we spent a lot of time on Buffalo, Minnesota. Obviously, the game.
Well, I think, but it is the game.
Let's talk about the Germany game real quick because that was fun, right? Like, was that like? I think Tom Brady said it was the most fun he's had in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean that was the fact that
we got to have more. Like, I didn't get
we've been spending so much time in London, and then you have
those like huge
people
beers?
in Germany running around with personal pictures of them singing "Country Roads." Like,
let's look this up.
The "Country Roads" video is just the most Americanized. And I was saying that. So I was at a wedding the other day with some people in that are from England, and there were some London games. And I was asking them, what is the European NFL fan like? Is it big out there? Like these stadiums are always like hugely packed. And he's like, yeah, people get into the games out there. He's like, the guy who follows the NFL in Europe is typically like a really weird guy, is glued to the TV for entire like days and stuff. And then I was like,
it's fun that they all have different jerseys on too.
Well, I was like, you are just describing the American NFL fan. So it's it's just less accepted out there, I guess. But I thought it was a great game. And Brady maybe back. It's hard to say.
This is the picture.
Yeah, that's a great one.
This guy Seahawked out. Him and his wife. Or
Seattle whoever. Going through every time zone. Tough for them, I guess, but.
Seattle, man, solid team. Here, let's look. I saw this today from Football Outsiders. I don't really know much about what they do, but it was about the DVOA of teams, and there were some surprising ones. So this is like, I don't know. They're using some analytics to assess the top teams. The surprising one to me is Seattle at 6.
Yeah, I mean these are great for the league as a whole.
I mean, Jets obviously. I mean, look, it's just a stats thing. So it's like who you play is part of it, I'm sure.
I'm sure if you went through like average QBRs for the year, there'd be a weird one.
Baltimore up here.
Baltimore's good, dude. I think they're
well, Baltimore made some sharp trades. They're a very well run organization. Denver had so many chances. Justin Fields, legit for sure, but lost one. I mean, I'd like to see Justin Fields against a good defense, but
so he's had 2 historic games for a quarterback, 150 yards running.
2 great defenses for his skill set, though.
And lost both those games. So it just shows that, like, if that is his skill set and how they are going to
we have to say that
offense, they either have to make some changes or they're going to have to do something because it's just not sustainable football. And it's also not winning. Like, they're not winning the games either. So
that's not really fair because we have to say their team is not great,
Okay, well, they lost to Detroit, so it's not like they're the bottom of the NFC right now with what we think is
sure, but I mean, if you are Chicago, you are pumped to have Justin Fields.
Yes, I agree, but they should not be last.
And there are a lot of teams in that draft who had a chance to get Fields. New England, others that could have traded like
That's
one
not
or
true.
two.
Chicago drafted him 10th.
You guys were at like 13th or something. You could have traded.
Oh yeah, well, if we're talking about trading up, which is what Chicago did.
But no, a lot of teams decided he wasn't worth it. Which I mean, we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the ask. We're talking about
Pitt,
Chicago,
man,
who has never had a quarterback in their entire franchise.
Good for Pitt. Clearly, New Orleans has to go back to Jameis. Like the Red Rifle's over. Jeff Saturday, man, we got to talk about that game.
Josh McDaniels should be fired. I mean,
for sure. Like,
if you're pulling,
but this is what I said last week too, is where we come to a point of the year where players are going to quit on teams, and a team like Las Vegas, who probably viewed themselves as legit, like it's just so disappointing to be in that locker room. I'm sure.
Well, yeah, I mean, Derek Carr's having a mental breakdown on the stand afterwards. Like we're talking
about Green Bay, man. Green Bay's back. Let's just rapid fire through this game so we can get to the picks. Green Bay,
I mean, the Indy game is the most. Yeah, outside of
right. Let's give Indy its time.
Outside of the Buffalo Minnesota game, that is the most interesting game to me because Saturday is. It's not as much credit that should be, and he should get a lot of credit, but
should get credit, man. But like fucking Irsay demands that Matt Ryan is benched, and then Saturday comes out and he's like, "Oh no, you can play Matt Ryan." So like they're setting up Frank Reich to fail. I think Frank Reich will definitely
we were hearing that he had like maybe shoulder or season-ending like shoulder injury. It just shows like how BS some of that stuff is, and that I mean
whatever. So
Frank Reich, what if they make a run here, man? I mean
that would be so fun.
No, it would, and it also would
because I don't like the good old boys coaching circle. Like every year,
or just like how much do we believe that the coaches that have coached for 30 years, it's second nature to them. They live in the organization's facility.
Did you see what
if he does that, like we're gonna see some people just being like, we're just hiring guys that we think are good dudes that have played.
But did you see what Joe Thomas said?
No, I didn't.
You should look up that video later. He basically, before the game, he said it was an insult to the coaches on the Colts that what Irsay did to like choose his drinking buddy. He's not wrong, but like, like that's saying that those people are deserved, they're owed anything, and they're fucking not. Like if
Did they win?
I mean, like, yeah, but like that's kind of what it is at the end of the day. If the owner wants to choose a guy, like I don't care if you choose the top Madden player in the world. If that guy can speak to people and call plays, get him out there. Like.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Mike McDaniel, right? He seems like he's the real deal, but he's kind of this nerdy pothead, whatever you want to call him. Like
he's cool. I like Mike.
No, and I think he's one of the most, but he's not our dad's coach. Like we didn't grow up like watching this guy coach games. And Jeff Saturday is our dad's coach, but he has no experience whatsoever.
Yeah, that's the thing is like Jeff Saturday does play. Like he clearly could have been a coach if he wanted to do it the right way. Did you see that he had to give his fantasy football team to Eric Decker?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it makes sense. I mean, because he probably has. I don't know.
You're not allowed to have a team and be so whatever. Good for the Colts. Would love to see them go on a run. Because the Titans, man, I'm like they've had their time in the sun.
What I would love to see for the Colts is that in week 18 they're playing for like the 7th seed. If a lot of stuff goes right, and like they have something to play for the rest of the year.
That's how I feel about Atlanta, but I don't know if it's going to happen, man. Like,
I mean, I think Tampa's turned a corner. I really do.
Well, yeah, I mean that's possible. They have so much talent. What about Green Bay? I think Christian Watson, he's hurt now, so that's hard.
They're just so far in the hole, man.
But if Christian Watson is legit, I think it really changes that team because now you have an actual deep threat. They don't actually want to throw it deep. They just can now, and they want to run the ball. And so that actually like takes coverage.
I mean, they pretty much have to run the table at this point, though.
Colt McCoy versus John Wolford Bowl, terrible. These afternoon games were awful. These 4 games, but other than the fun game of just Saturday, yeah.
No, and I mean, like, that wasn't even that good of a game. It was just the fact that he was pantsing some guy who was supposed to be by all accounts, Josh McDaniels has his head on straight, and he's a Super Bowl winning offensive coordinator. So, it's pretty hard to.
So let's say Bill Belichick retires next year. What are they doing?
Josh McDaniels. I don't know, man. I mean, he was kind of.
Would you want them to go to Josh? That can't be right.
I mean,
I will say this:
there is like a certain thing with your relationship.
Let me say this about the Raiders real quick, because big name talent, they have it, but they were set like the talent reservoir that they have drafted over the past couple of years is terrible. So it could take a couple of years. Now, I'm not excusing it, but like his defense and I don't think they have like a first round pick on the team for like 5 years running. Like all of them have flamed out. So when Mike Mayock and John Gruden are the ones filling your roster, just plugging in Devontae Adams might not be enough. All right, let's jump into this week's games, unless you have anything to say on anything else, Bert.
Yeah, just Philly dropping their last undefeated. So.
Philly.
Good.
Yeah, that's the
2 Dolphins having a toast to whatever Mercury Morris piece of shit.
It's gonna be. I mean, what a terrible way for that game to end. Just awful.
Oh yeah, so I watched that. I mean, that's such crap, man. Because it's almost. Do you think Heineke knew or was trying to draw a call?
I don't care, man. It was just so bad. It's like,
I mean, to take a knee that far out,
it wasn't even a good call because. The whistle happens.
A situation where you would be thinking like, "Oh, QB's going to give himself up here." So it's so unfair to the defense.
The whistle happens as the guys get there, and they don't like F them up at all. It's just like so dumb. Like, what if a quarterback does that and then gets up and throws?
Well, that's illegal now too, because the Kenny Pickett fake slide, both the NFL and NCAA outlawed that after he did that last year.
Yeah, I mean, that would have been like prevalent. All right, let's move on. We got Thursday night football game. A lot of injury questions for the Packers.
We're just making a fine. Sorry, I didn't don't end the game on that. Like, make it a fine for the player.
And he's like celebrating it. It's like, dude.
Yeah.
I
mean, they won the game.
The funniest thing,
hard to ask them not to celebrate a win again, like their biggest.
The funniest thing is he might get benched when Carson Wentz is back next week.
Yeah, I don't know. I heard he buys a pair of Jordans in the colors of every team that he beats in the NFL. So he's got another pair of green Jordans, I guess.
He's got like 5 pairs of Jordans. No,
yeah, because he's got the Packers now, and he's got.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
All right. Titans at Packers. Titans getting 3 points on the road. A little bit surprising. The big thing to look up here is Christian Watson's injury, because I think he makes them a legitimately different team. I think Randall Cobb is coming up the IR. I don't know if Christian Watson's going to play, but hopefully he does. He had like 4 touchdowns or something insane in that Dallas game. How do you see this one, Bert?
I quit on Green Bay last week, and I accepted Tennessee as the Lords and Savior of the AFC South many weeks ago. So I think Tennessee getting points here is easy for me. I'm taking Tennessee.
It's that time of year where it'll snow in Lambeau. Just had a big win against the Cowboys.
Are you predicting a snow game?
We're about to get to a snow game. You have finally Christian Watson. Randall Cobb is coming back. I'm rolling with the Green Bay Packers. And this starts the Colts comeback to the playoffs for the 7th.
Oh, the Colts. Yeah.
They need the Titans to drop a
they
lot
need
of games.
This. Saturday needs this.
Yeah. All right. So I'll take the Packers.
What if Saturday was on like Get Up on Monday morning?
he's like,
I'm just doing it all,
sorry,
baby.
Man, can't let you out. All right, this next game, the Browns at the Bills. So I think I'm gonna be curious what Buffalo does with Josh Allen's practice schedule, mainly because I'm curious if he actually shouldn't be practicing or if that was all gamemanship last week, where they were like trying to fool the Vikings. Now, this game I think is supposed to be in a blizzard, which is fun. And I mean, the great thing about the Bills is they can actually throw in adverse conditions. Only the wind matters. Let's look up the weather. Um, the Browns, though, could be helped by the weather. Like their only chance to win, in my point of view, is getting the ground game going.
I'm surprised you
Let's
even
see.
allow for that.
It's not loading here. So it's going to be, I don't know how much snow it's going to be. Julie know exactly what we'll see in Buffalo this weekend, but feet of snow is on the table, which would be fun, man.
That's a great quote.
That would be really fun in my.
I mean, the new renderings of the Buffalo Stadium makes you so happy that they did not, or they left it open.
So I'll say this: I originally thought
because like the fans, like, you think Pinto Ron wants to go sit in a dome? I mean, I know for a fact
Pinto Ron is not the team, man. Like I know Pinto Ron gets an ESPN segment each Bills game, but no. I don't unless there's wind there, it doesn't really impact offense.
Probably Harrison. Yeah.
Snow and rain. So we'll see how if the Bills shut out the Browns, then maybe. But
Cleveland is reeling too, man. I mean,
what I thought originally is hey, you have Josh Allen, you have one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, get a dome for him. Take the weather out of it. And then I watched a game this year against the Ravens where Lamar legitimately could not throw in the wind against Buffalo, and Josh could throw all over the field. And I was like, holy shit, this is actually much smarter. Where, like, if we think back to that game last year where New England beat Buffalo in that, like, wind, in that, like, hurricane, Josh actually could, like, it was hard, but he actually could throw in that. So, like, the advantage that
I think they handcuffed him, and if they had let him throw, they probably win that game last year.
Yeah, I mean, but like the crazy thing is that, like, Josh can throw in conditions others can't.
And
he gets the Buffalo wind with that lake effect wind is the most unique, weird wind in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, you don't care about this at all, but dome QBs among like the community.
So I'll take Buffalo -8.
Oh, sorry, dome QBs among the like Hall of Fame community do not get the same respect for whatever reason.
The Hall of Fame community is filled of like 75-year-old dudes who I don't.
Okay, well, don't you want Terry Bradshaw saying that Josh Allen played?
No, do not care what Terry thinks. Hope he gets better though.
Okay, well, that was a joke, but yeah, I mean, I think Buffalo, and I've taken them, I think 2 or 3 weeks in a row now that they haven't covered. Buffalo's a good team. They win. Great teams cover. They're not even winning right now. But I just think that Cleveland, they're reeling. I think that this is the last week without Deshaun, right? This week 11.
I don't know.
I believe it is week 11. And it just.
No, and it's probably a profitable strategy to just take them every week, Superstorm.
Well, he's -17, so.
Well, yeah, but like, that is if I was betting every game. That's not how I would do it, and I would not bet my game.
I'm not sure if the Bills have a winning record covering wise, to be honest. We should look that up. But I feel like
4-4-1.
Okay, so 500.
Yeah, so chase it from here and you're good.
I just think that they're probably going to have their eyes set on getting him back. They probably have this looked at as a scheduled loss already. If the conditions are like that, that's only going to favor the home team. So I don't know. I think taking Cleveland here is kind of crazy. So I like Buffalo -8 also.
I mean, Cleveland's only chance is that Nick Chubb goes for like 404.
I'm kind of in this like nice spot right now where I'm taking Buffalo every week and they're losing outright. So I don't like feel too bad because it's good for the Patriots when they do. So I don't mind taking Buffalo.
Yeah, but the Bills are going to start getting after the Cleveland, I think they have a couple cakewalks like Chicago or something. I think
Cleveland's a cakewalk at this point. I mean, they're not a good team. Like,
they're not a good team. They're really bad against the run. The Bills don't want to run, so like that's kind of interesting. And they don't exactly want to run Josh Allen in these regular season games either. Moving on, Detroit getting 3 on the road against the Giants. Giants, I think backdoor covered or something like late last week.
Yeah,
like, wasn't
they
that
covered against Houston.
But like late in the fourth quarter, right?
Yeah.
How do you see it, Bert?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the Giants are at this point. I meant to say this when we were talking about the games last week. Is just when you look at what Brian Daboll is versus what Josh McDaniels is, who is Brian Daboll is an excellent offensive coordinator.
Brian Daboll on the Broncos, man, and I saw something today that the Broncos, I think if they scored 18 points each game,
Yeah, I saw that too. They'd be 8-1.
Like 6-3 or something.
Yeah. No, they'd be 8-1.
They'd be 8-1
if they just.
So you don't tell me Brian Daboll could get 18 points, you know?
Well, yeah, but I mean, I've said this about Nathaniel Hackett, and I'm not defending him, but Russell Wilson coming to that organization, there were certain things promised to him, and he is handcuffed to that. But you know, he definitely has a lot more talent than Brian Daboll does. Brian Daboll has a bad team, but is an offensive coordinator that has had a lot of success. Josh McDaniels has a great team and is an offensive coordinator that has a lot of success.
The Raiders are not a great team.
Okay. Well, they're a lot better than New York.
Name 5 great players on that team.
I mean, great. If we're talking about great players.
I think you can name 3 players.
Devontae Adams is great.
Okay.
Derek Carr is a serviceable QB.
That's not great.
Max Crosby is an elite pass rusher.
Okay.
Jonathan Abraham is a great safety. Josh Jacobs is a good running back. I've already named more people than you probably know on the entire roster.
That's the point, is that they are not a great team.
All I'm saying, they are a lot better than New York on paper. And what Brian Daboll has done, like, amazing.
I will agree that Brian Daboll's doing a great job.
And so what I would say about the Giants is they are probably able to, at this point, recognize these are the games that we have to have, because they only have to win probably 3 games for the rest of the year. And this is one of those winnable games for them. So I like them a lot versus New York, because they seem to have their heads on straight and able to take care of business against teams that they should be able to take care of business against.
You're taking the Giants?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know how we take Detroit. Like the
I think Daboll's probably hung over from that Green Bay win or whatever.
I want to take Detroit with like DeAndre Swift and Amon-Ra and stuff, but they're not playing DeAndre Swift. The Giants have, I think, a better defense than people think. They play a lot of man coverage for some reason, and Saquon against the Lions is just like a nut matchup for him. So I'll take the Giants too. It's just like, prove it to me, Lions. If you can get this win, it's a big win for the team. All right. Eagles -6.5 at the Colts. I will take Philly here. I think Philly, AJ Brown rolled his ankle in the first play, the third drive of the game or something. He stayed out there as a decoy, but a week after losing to Washington disappointingly there, I think the Eagles come out and roll on the Colts. And like Matt Ryan against the Eagles defense is about the worst defense that Matt Ryan could see. Like, he's going to get destroyed.
Let's do a hypothetical here. And I hate to go back to the Indy trope of, we're going to keep talking about them, but I think that they are the most interesting story of the week. Is Jim Irsay happier with the 07 Super Bowl or with that win last week with Jeff Saturday? Keep in mind, this is a man that hangs AFC
Jim
finals.
Irsay is probably like 7 scotches deep and barely remembers that.
I think there's probably a degree where he's like, the whole league laughed at me, and I put this guy out there. I believed in him. I know he's a great football mind. He probably likes this more than his Super Bowl. No, I think that last week I said that if Josh McDaniels lost that game, he should be fired. He should be fired. Nick Sirianni is a coach that is a good coach in the NFL with a great team around him. I think this is where you kind of maybe see Indy turn back into, it's a great pop little win for them. Philly is going to crush them. So I like Philly here, 6.5, especially coming off a loss to Washington, a team that they are a lot better than.
Yeah, the only thing that's harder about like taking the Eagles as big favorites than a team like Buffalo is they don't front run. So like once they're up big, they just start like taking the foot off.
Yeah, but I think
but
this is
even with that, like I legitimately see, and the other thing that the Eagles are really being hurt on right now is Jordan Davis has been missing for them. Their first round pick.
that guy's
huge dude.
awesome. He runs like
But
a
like
4.8 40
you
at
can run on
310.
Philly, and so Jonathan Taylor is probably going to get a ton of work against Philly, and probably have a good game. But
yeah, but I also think this is a line that because Indy won last week, because Philly lost last week, this line would be maybe 10 if those things didn't happen. This is free money to me. This might be the pick of the week, to be honest. But yeah,
Jets at New England. It is your turn to walk us through it. New England only getting 3 at home.
Yeah, I mean, where's that guy? DYCR. If you think that New England is not going to come in and at home completely dominate this team that they dominated in the Meadowlands just 3 weeks ago, I think you're crazy.
What was the score of that game? Like 22-9?
Yeah, or maybe they scored late or something like that. But defensively dominated them. It doesn't matter their offensive issues. It is Zach Wilson coming in. He has played 4 games against them. I think thrown 3 picks in maybe 3 of them at least. He's going to come in and have a awful game. And New England maybe scores 26 points, but that's going to be enough to win by multiple scores for them. So I think you're crazy not to take New England -3 here.
I'm hearing rumors that Mac Jones got a little, crazy on the bye. New England.
He's got a DUI, so
undisciplined.
Maybe 2, actually.
Jets off the bye as well. It's hard, but give me the Jets plus.
It's not hard, and
give me the Jets +3. Give me the Jets. Nitty and gritty D. I just see them.
This is why
you're minus 17 down Ramondre, and they can get to, Mac. This New England team is not as good as we think. Let's say that for sure. I think Chicago proved that.
They're not as good as. No, they're not as good as probably New England fans think.
What is this line?
They're not as bad as you think, though. I think I've probably got a pretty good gauge on what they are this year.
Yeah, they're all right. They're not good. Anyways, moving
9 and 8, 10 and 7. That's how I feel about them.
Bears getting 3 points against the Falcons. I got to take the Bears, man. This is like a Justin Fields in the dome. He's already getting comps that he is Michael Vick. You don't think that Justin Fields is going to want to run for 250 yards in the dome to pretend that, hey, I'm the new Vick.
For me, it's like
Justin Fields +3. They did get an injury or 2, but come on now. Give me the Bears.
Yeah, he's running up for 150 yards a game. They lost by 1 to Detroit, and they hung in a game with a much better Miami team than they are. He's going to break through at some point here, man. He's the talk of the NFL right now in terms of being that next guy. So I'm going to probably bet Chicago for the rest of the year, or at least until they win a game, because he's going to come in and eventually have like a dominating performance where he doesn't get screwed out of a win. So I like Chicago here also.
I wouldn't hate an Atlanta win though, because I'd like to see that Atlanta steal that playoff spot from the Bucs.
Yeah, that's just your Brady hate though.
All right, Panthers at the Ravens. Talk us through it. Panthers getting +12 on the road.
Carolina
coming off a big win.
They won on Thursday night. +12 is a huge line. I think Vegas knows something about Baltimore, that they are primed for maybe making a push for that 1 seed. Which would, like, if it wasn't -12, I would take them. If it was probably like -9, but that extra field goal, I think, God, man, I think I just got to take Carolina. That's a huge line to be given to Baltimore at this point.
Yeah, I mean, 12 is a lot, but this just seems like a Lamar game. Like he's gonna run all over them. They're coming off the bye. The Ravens are probably like 25-0 against the bye all time or something. Give me the Ravens minus 12 again.
Yeah, actually,
a team.
Can I come back on that because
whoa.
I'm just thinking about like
Bert not want to separate our record. He doesn't want to be on different sides.
I have no problem being on a different side than you at this point, my friend.
It doesn't sound like it. It sounds like you're like, oh, I'll just bet with him.
I was just thinking more like, Carolina on the road after an emotional win.
No, it's okay. You listened to me break down the game, and you agreed with me.
It does seem like Baltimore's going to blow doors, so I'd like to come back on Baltimore.
Yeah, and I'll also mention that Carolina does not want to win games. They have such an advantage of being a bottom team that they're like, oh, we could beat the Falcons once, though, just to let them know what's up. All right, so Bert changed to Ravens minus 12. First time we've seen that all year. All right, Bert.
Okay, we have predicted like legitimately.
Hey! I'm just saying.
Sometimes you're going to make some changes, split second. All right.
I mean, people are in the chat.
Whoa!
I don't know who said that, but someone said whoa. All right, Washington at Houston. Washington minus 3.5 at the Texans. Man, these Texans are terrible. So give me the Commanders. I like some of the offensive talent on the Commanders. Chase Young might be off the IR. I'm taking the favorite on the road against the Texans.
I liked Washington walking in, but this was a pick 'em for me. And because you were harassing me on switching to Baltimore, I'm going to Houston here. Plus,
wow. Okay. Hey, I'm in his head, guys. Next one. Rams at Saints. Take it off, Bert.
Good move, Bert. Thank you, Preston.
Is this like your burner or something? This guy's always with
me. No, he gave me a follow the other day, and Christina has been hiding her phone from me, so maybe she's supporting me from the depths. New Orleans favored by 4 here. Wow. I think I like LA here.
Matt Stafford or Kupp's out for
he's got the ankle surgery.
Kupp's out for at least 4 to 5 weeks. Matt Stafford.
New Orleans every week are they going to play Jameis or Andy Dalton? And we're like, if they play Jameis, I like New Orleans, but then every week I turn on my TV and it's Andy Dalton. So I think I have to take LA here just because of that alone, getting points. So yeah.
I'll take the Saints because you just got to feel it sometimes. And I feel like this is a Jameis week. Jarvis Landry back, Jameis to Chris Olave. The Rams have a terrible O-line. They got another.
Do we know that Jameis is playing this week?
We don't. Okay. I'm feeling that. And the Rams got another injury to their O-line. Kupp is out. That team is a disaster without Kupp. So if you look up like Matt Stafford's stats with that, if you remove the Kupp yards each time, it's like, oh my God, what is this?
Yeah, but it's also like, are they going to score points with Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey and that defense getting after them? Like, I don't know.
Jalen Ramsey allowed the most receptions ever to a wide receiver last week.
There are always stats like that about
blanket coverage. I'm just saying, Ramsey. We've not seen Ramsey take over a game in a long time.
He's still a top 3 corner.
Sure, maybe he's not getting targeted. I'm just saying we haven't seen it. Las Vegas at Denver. Denver minus 2.5. I'm going to take Denver. Denver should have won last week. Russ just barely missed Greg deep. Denver's defense still good. The Raiders, I legitimately believe, have quit on the team. I'm sure the Broncos players don't love playing for Russ, but you got to stick with what you got at this point. So give me Denver minus 2.5 at home. Mile High.
2 teams I hate.
You don't want to pick one here.
Yeah, I love I love Josh McDaniels as a offensive coordinator. I think we may be viewing a guy that has like some of the worst head coaching management skills with an outstanding football knowledge. Maybe that in like the past 5 years or something like that.
Let me grab a Bert. Let me grab a beer while you finish this, Bert.
So I just think because I do have that true love in my heart for Josh McDaniels, I am gonna ultimately take the Vegas Raiders because I just don't believe in Russ. I just don't. And Nathaniel Hackett, if it's Team Nathaniel or Team Russ, they're probably going to go Team Russ. Probably moving to frame him to be the guy that gets fired this year, and they'll get whoever Russ wants in there, I think. And that begins with, starting to lose a lot of games. And I just don't think that the team is. At least you can respect Russ if you're a player. He's been to multiple Super Bowls, won a Super Bowl. I think that they've probably completely tuned Nathaniel Hackett out. Not that Vegas hasn't tuned out Josh McDaniels, but he's definitely a guy that I think can win this game for them. We can look at Minnesota and Dallas here. I did end up taking Vegas, but
sorry about that, guys.
I'm up first for Minnesota, Dallas. This is a pick 'em.
Wait, who'd you choose in the Raiders game?
I took Vegas.
What was your reasoning?
My reasoning is that I think that Denver is probably gonna move on from either Russ or Nathaniel Hackett at the end of the year here. Which
they can't move on from Russ.
That's what I was going to say. They can't move on from Russ, and that's what I did say. So I think that the players probably know this or have tuned Nathaniel Hackett out. Not that Vegas is super keen on what Josh McDaniels is saying.
What do you mean? The Raiders just lost to the Colts. You don't think that team is like?
I think the Broncos are a bottom of the league team. Maybe not permanently, but this year, I think that they are a abject disaster. Vegas is as well.
If teams have not scored more than teams don't score in Denver. It's just Denver's not scoring.
Well, maybe Vegas scores 18 here. It seems like Josh McDaniels can get there at least, right?
Yeah. All right, Dallas at Minnesota.
I like. I love Dallas here. I mean, they're coming off a loss to a team that is probably better than we gave them credit for in Green Bay. Minnesota is coming off the win of the year, super emotional, super lucky. It's kind of like that year that Minnesota won that on that Hail Mary to Stephon Diggs against New Orleans. You kind of knew going into that Philly NFC Championship that they did not have a shot with them being as emotional as they were. Minnesota rolling, Dallas coming off a loss. I think Dallas gets it done here. So I like that.
Yeah, I'm rolling with Dallas too. I like, whatever. Kirk Cousins and the Vikings, they have a lot of good players on their team. The Dallas defense is very legit. I just think that Minnesota's going to struggle against this defense. And, Micah Parsons is going to reign supreme. And, the Cowboys are a good team. And Minnesota agreed. They got lucky last week. They're fine.
Kirk Cousins.
I think Dak is better than Kirk. It's just
Kirk Cousins is a QB destined to lose a pick'em. That is his spot to be in a pick'em game, get his team to a pick'em game with a very good team against another.
Well, technically, it's not if the Cowboys were at home, they would be -4, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess, man. I'm saying with the circumstances.
So they're saying that Dallas is better because they're getting favored on the road.
I understand that, but I'm saying that this is his destiny is to get Minnesota to a game where they can say that they are a pick 'em against another playoff contender and ultimately lose that game. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, again, they won a ton of 90-10s, 6 of them. I could list them. But anyways, Bengals at Pitt. Pitt coming off a big win for Kenny Pickett and the boys. Bengals, we don't know exactly who is in, who is out for them. Is Jamar Chase playing? Does it matter? 5 points on the road. I don't, I like the direction of Kenny Pickett and Pitt. Like, they have some pieces, but give me the Bengals. Like, the Bengals defense is underrated as well. So
if the Bengals lose this game, do we agree that their season is probably over?
what's their record?
I think they're like maybe a game over 500. I mean, I guess you can't say their season is over, but this is a game that teams that are supposed to be as good as the Bengals.
No, but they'd be 5-5, and I expect the Jets to add some losses, the Patriots to add some losses.
And let's just also remember Cincinnati.
The Chargers maybe.
Definitely feels they left one on the table with Pittsburgh in week 1.
And Jamar Chase. If Jamar Chase comes back, it's just a totally different team. So,
yeah. I mean, that's like Cincinnati. They need divisional wins. They feel they left one on the table with Pittsburgh. I think this is an obvious spot for them. So, Cincinnati -5.
All right. The Chiefs -6.
Who did you take there?
I took Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Kansas City versus the Chargers. Chargers coming off a big W.
No, they lost.
Oh yeah, sorry. They lost. The Chargers had some momentum. They were doing okay. What I meant to say is Mike Williams and Keenan Allen. Like, dude, this is what I wanted to really say is Justin Herbert looks healthy for once, I thought. And Mike Williams and Keenan Allen, I think, are practicing. Like, they need them back so bad. So, like, I feel like this line could change a lot whether Keenan and Big Mike are playing. Chargers 6.5 at home. How do you see it, Bert?
LA firmly one of my bottom 4 teams in the league. I think Brandon Staley is a
ridiculous.
Bozo.
That's a ridiculous take. They are
no. I'm not saying they're one of the 4 worst teams. They're one of my 4 least favorite teams in the league.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, what do you mean? They're 5-4.
No. That's not what I'm saying. I think LA is not.
You don't like LA. You don't like what they're doing.
Not designed to cover. Brandon Staley should not be a head coach, at least attached to Justin Herbert. So love KC here. I think LA gets waxed here. Yeah.
Yeah, so like Kadarius Toney, who I'm a big believer in, got to show out last week.
I saw a clip where people were losing their mind that he adjusted his gloves before.
He adjusted his gloves mid-play. Yeah, no, I'm a big believer in Toney.
No, not just mid-play, like mid-ball in the air.
No, I know. That's what I meant by mid-play. He like pulls his gloves down and then goes up and mosses a guy. He's amazing, man. If Big Mike and Keenan were playing, I'd take 6.5. Divisional primetime games, they rarely go how you think they're going to go. But I don't see how you don't go with the Chiefs minus a touchdown or so here. Especially because I do think Kadarius Toney's a difference maker. And it's possible Big Mike and Keenan don't play, in which case this line could even
if KC was only supposed to or was going to win this game by 3 points, Brandon Staley is good for leaving 7 to 10 points on the field every game. So I don't know. I love KC here. Hammer them.
It's not a spot I would do that because at this point in the week we just don't know where it's going to happen, and I don't think the Chargers are as bad as you think.
Kansas City losing to Indy this year, that's going to be the head scratcher of the year, huh?
Yeah, that was the head scratcher back then, yes. And even now.
Well, it wasn't, but there was kind of okay, that was week 2 or 3. So people were kind of Indy maybe getting something figured out with Matt Ryan. I don't know.
No, it made no sense. But what I will say is it was the start of the cover 2 era where all teams are playing cover 2 to take away the deep shot. And maybe the Chiefs weren't prepared for that back then.
Well, they also got killed on a Chris Jones.
Yeah, there was some weird
passer penalty or something
plays.
like that too.
Niners -8 at the Cardinals. This is a spot where the Niners got back Elijah Mitchell, and he played a lot for them. Their running back. Actually, I think the Niners are wisely trying to not ride CMC to death in games they don't need to. Arizona did a weird cut. They cut Eno Benjamin, who got signed by the Texans, their backup running back. And we don't know if Kyler's going to play at this point. I believe Cliff said something like, we want him to be able to run fully, which makes sense. Hopkins is a monster, but I don't know how you take Arizona at this point in the week, especially not knowing if Kyler's going to play. But if Kyler plays, getting 8 feels really nice, in my opinion. So, screw it. I'm going to gamble that Kyler plays. Give me Arizona +8. I need Kyler to play in the worst way for in a big league fantasy football team. So I'll show you that team after. Got devastated this week. So I'll take Arizona +8.
Yeah, Cliff is a dead man walking. Wouldn't be surprised if, Kyler got all that money this year, but I wouldn't be surprised if he kind of sees the writing on the wall and he's not rehabbing his best to get back for this year.
They're all shouting at each other.
Oh, on the sidelines? I didn't see any.
Yeah, there's a lot of that going on.
Yeah, I mean, Aaron Rodgers and LaFleur apparently were going at it too. I think San Francisco is one of those teams that is a lot better than the record says that they are. What are they, 6-4? And they're just a team that I think is probably primed to make a deep playoff run. I think they probably end up winning this division.
Chris, that's called ADHD, brother. Mine's moving a million miles a minute.
I don't know how you
and gamble.
I'm gonna gamble. Oh, is he quoting you? I didn't even.
Yeah. No, he's saying how I started that saying I'm gonna go to the Niners. I don't know how you can pick Arizona. I said fuck. Hey, how you can pick Arizona? Saying Kyler rejuvenates.
This is a field business, friend. This is a field business.
There's a lot of feel on the line, and I haven't been.
This isn't who we think is going to win. This is who we think is going to cover. And
people are coming out of the woodworks for this Arizona pick by me.
I just think San Francisco is, primetime game. They probably here are announcing their role as Super Bowl contenders, which I think they've been for the past few weeks. But let's go, baby. Oh yeah, Modern Warfare is getting boring.
Well, I want Kyler
double XP weekend.
I want the Daniel, bro. You're gonna have to rewind to the start of the video, but we feel good about him.
I think he's trolling, dude.
I know he's trolling, so I'm gonna tell him he has to rewind. The Arizona, you picked the Niners?
Yeah, I like Niners.
All right, cool. That's our picks for this week. I'll show you guys that in a minute. So this is a main event team. It's like a $2,000 buy-in, and we started last week with a lot of optimism. It's $1 million to first if you can make the tournament. We had Tyreek. We had Cooper Kupp. Marquise Brown, we're hoping comes back. Kyler. We have Jerry Jeudy. We have A.J. Brown. Last week, A.J. Brown rolls his ankle. Cooper Kupp is out, high ankle sprain, out for 4 to 6 weeks. Tyreek's on bye. Julio's on bye. Jerry Jeudy hurt first play of the game. So all of a sudden, our team, I thought we were going to cruise to the playoffs, and I was feeling really good about this team. We have some pieces at running back.
Despair.
Yeah. Now I'm rolling with Kenny Pickett. Man.
Is this a drafted team or is it?
This is a managed team. It's not best ball. So
no. But is it drafted or is it
drafted? This is
salary cap or whatever.
No, it's not like DFS. You draft the team, and then you have a fab budget to pick up players, so you get a bid on the free agents, and the top 2 record teams and the top 2 teams that have the most points for them go to the playoffs automatically. And then
which one is your team name?
And then mine is every single team name of mine. It has something to do with the word sun running. So this one is Quick Math Sun. kind of a play on that YouTube video, Quick Maths, or man.
Familiar.
No, man, not hot. He's like Quick Maths.
I like DGen fucks. That's
yeah. I mean, this one is Hey Mr. Kraft, what's under my towel? That guy's team is. But so, anyways, last week it was like me and this guy were the only two in it, and now I have to compete with these two dudes, and I don't have any of my fucking players. So all of a sudden, I thought I was like, oh, I'm gonna cruise to the playoffs. Now I don't. I literally need to pick a wide receiver off the street to play. And by the way, if we look at these the players available, let's look at some of these wide receivers. So Paris Campbell,
baby,
might have to go all in on him. But other than that,
what about LaVisca, dude? I thought you were in on him.
No, I'm not a LaVisca guy. Actually, quite the opposite. Like Devontae Parker. Am I going to throw a dart at him? There's not a lot out there, and so
put some respect on Devontae's name.
This is also a point. This is a tight end premium league, so tight ends get 1.5 points per reception. So I literally might need to and you have double flex rather than 2 wide receivers.
Hill and you've double flexed your.
So I might have to triple tight end in a tight end premium, and just pray that Taysom Hill, Greg, and Dawson have a big week, and Jerry Jeudy / maybe Paris Campbell.
That is true sun running if those guys.
Yeah, no, I mean, I need that. How much are you guys bidding for Christian Watson in that league, dude? All the fab. If he's out there, I don't think he is though.
He probably got drafted.
I would not drop him if I had him. No. Yeah. My other teams that have some promise. This team has some promise. It is fighting for the best record. It doesn't have a good points for, but hopefully it can just run pure and keep winning. And
go back to those team names. Let's get them.
Well, let's look at the team first. I'll show you the team names. So this is a Kelsey team. This is a Tom Brady team with Chris Godwin, who are both on bye.
Gotta feel good about that though. 1 second.
But it has Kelsey, which in tight end premium is the nuts. Again, Jerry Jeudy hurt. Joshua Palmer has been really solid fill in with the injuries to the other guys. So I don't know, man. I got a lot of buys this week.
How did you find this? How did you find this contest?
I think from Pete Overzet and them, they were. I think I noticed it from them first, and then, of course, I want to play fantasy football tournaments. And so the way it works is you draft a team. If you're the highest scoring team, or you are the team that has the most points for it, you automatically go to the tournament. If you don't, those 2 teams and another 2 teams go to this mini playoff, and the top team from that goes to the tournament. If you're the top scoring team in the tournament, you win $1 million. These are the team names. But
love it.
Yeah, this team's pretty good with Nick Chubb, Foreman, a great free agent pickup, and Kelsey. But you can see my bids on quarterback. I'm bidding on Kenny Pickett, Matt Ryan, Tannehill, Davis Mills without Tom Brady. And I guess I might have to play Treylon Burks or Taysom Hill again in the flex spot. So playing a lot of tight ends on my teams.
So many guys on IR. That's brutal.
Well, you can drop him. I'm holding him though because I hope he comes back for the playoffs. It's just a brutal year this year for injuries. All right, enough about those teams.
Who is Evan Silva?
Evan Silva, why do you ask that?
Well, I sent you a picture.
He's a really big name in the fantasy football space.
There was the guy that was trying to fight you. There was one of his followers was.
One
of his followers was I want to set up a fight between you and Evan Silva because I hate you so much or something like that. And I was like, damn, everybody wants this dude to throw fists with somebody.
Evan Silva's a huge fantasy football guy who he's an X's and O's knows football type of guy. Connected well in the league too, I think. But yeah, I did see that. Another guy was trying to set up a boxing thing between Evan and Adam who tried.
And Matthew Berry, it sounds like maybe.
I don't know, man. But oh yeah,
that's a joke, not Matthew Berry, but just like you saying he was connected in the league made me think.
Oh yeah. So these are the games we're on the same page about. We're on different page for quite a bit of games. So opportunity for blood. Bert, tell us your top 2 or 3 favorite picks this week.
Yeah, I mean,
I also shared this Google Doc with you, so you don't have to make it anymore.
Yeah, I saw that. I love New England, obviously. And then I really like the KC versus LA game. And then I really like the Philadelphia game as well. So 2 big favorites. Actually, let me pick a dog for you too.
All right.
And then dogs, I like let me see. I like Chicago +3. That to me is like kind of shocking that they're getting points there. So yeah,
My
let's
favorite
go
3 on the week.
to not be too much of a homer. I'll go Chicago, Philly, KC, but I do believe that New England's a lock there too. But yeah,
I'm gonna go with Dallas, Chicago, and Philly or Buffalo.
yeah, we both feel great about our teams, obviously.
All right, guys, that might be it for this week. Tune in Thursday or Saturday for the DFS breakdown. I'll have a chess stream up and running tomorrow. Check out my Twitch, Liam Murphy Live. Bert's brother, Ben, gonna be coming over for Thanksgiving. So maybe we'll have
When's
him.
he getting there? When's he getting there?
I think Tuesday to like Saturday or something like that.
Okay.
So maybe we'll have. All right, Preston. No one asked, dude. No one asked. But maybe we'll have Ben sit in here with me in the lab, and we'll do no headphones breakdown, and we'll add a Liam, Bert, and Ben category.
Well, yeah.
Ben,
So I am.
Ben is, of course, a military member, so we salute Ben. Bert, former military.
Couple of heroes. Yeah. So if Ben's getting in on Tuesday,
Bert's got a Bronze Star, right?
Okay, Jesus Christ, dude.
That's a hero. That's a hero right there.
But
salute Bert, guys.
They kind of hand them out at the end of deployment based on your rank. But what I was going to say is that if Ben's going to be there Tuesday, let's record Tuesday, and we can talk about this later. But I fly out Wednesday, so we'll get it figured out.
Where are you flying out?
I'm doing St. Louis with my wife's family.
Oh, that's gonna be fun, man. Hopefully, you guys get some snow.
I'll let you guys know which bars we'll be at if anybody wants to come and get some advice. Which we're the pros.
A couple of the guys I've collabed with on here live in St. Louis, so
yeah, it's a fun town. Yeah, we're the pros. We have a show, so that means we know a lot.
Yeah. All right, guys, smash that subscribe button. There's nothing like starting on the bottom of a journey, and trust me, you're in the gutter if you're watching this show with us. Just kidding. Have a great week, guys. Okay.